So this is a bit of a follow-up to my first video on Lingo, which is a word game that's a masterpiece of game design. So I spent months in the editor for Lingo. This is the game, this is the map, and basically modified every area to have a different idea. You can see my avatar there. Yeah, it was a lot of effort, and being one of the first custom maps is also one that other people have played and gave feedback on a lot. The first mechanic I introduced in Palace is question marks. You can see this room has new stuff, high, tip, and zip. So, for all these, I'm going to give time to theorize about what this mechanic is. 3, 2, 1, okay. So question marks are, like, well, first of all, if you have high, you see there's a 4 length there, and the stuff, question mark, just putting them directly does not work. Now, white middle is typing the same word. You should know that if you watched the previous video, but in this case, of course, it doesn't work. So what actually works? High. For tip, this is type. And in fact, this is actually the same as the one in the original, and I type in this. So, this is not meant to be a very difficult mechanic to learn. It's not like there were many options, but I did like the idea of, you see question mark. It's something that you could think means something else. Like, because it is an actual word at the start, but instead it's just question mark means any symbol. And that, like, bait and switch with the first thing, I also had with this. The answer to this one is stuffing. Because there's an actual word where the question marks are converted into other symbols. I don't think I ever put this in the map, but I wanted to put forge question mark to forget. That's another fun one where the question marks are all at the end. So like in Lingo level 1, this is high, but it starts as high, as an HI, and then it goes through the white top, because this is a white top, so it is high to high. And So here, I have to mention this here because, well, first of all, we got same and opposite. In Lingo level 1, these were all opposites to each other. Not only actual opposites, but that they had the same answer as the clue on the other side. So far and near, and then, you know, straw and warts. So why bring up this area? I get it here. We have same and opposite. Originally, it was completely blocked out, but it turns out that was maybe too difficult. So you have same and opposite. And then here, for some goddamn reason, this roadblocks like 75% of the people I've watched play this. So, ST question mark, PA question mark. You know the theme of the previous, in Lingo level 1, and here is that they copy the answers. So, PA question mark, ST. So, you do ST, there's question mark, AP. You don't know what is that letter in between. They figure it out, they type strap, and then they freaking leave the area. Like, this was meant to be one of the earliest areas you got into. Everyone just rage quits here. Anyway, the reason is because after this going to RAP is just what the clue actually is, but you still need to do black middle, which is reverse letters. Like, everyone's played Lingo level 1, so they should know black middle is reversing letters. And you have to reverse what you get out of it. So there you go. Hearts and strap. The next one is and ditch. That is a black top. That is reversing sounds. Pretty much everyone playing Lingo should know that. These are sound opposites. Okay, so the answer is chatted and detach is the hidden thing in there. Okay, and now we have this very simple left and right. Same as in Lingo level 1 because, you know, they're black bottoms, which are basically antonyms, and then closed, open. You can see in these early game tutorial rooms, the main change is the use of question marks for an extra obscuring step. I also added some fun things like zerzes. That is a reversal. You really have to understand that it is a phonetic reversal, even though it's not a sensible word. The answer to this one is scissors. I also like this one because this IDT is very confusing. Like, if you don't understand, if it doesn't come to you that what word this is, it can be like, oh, what word is this? It's not real. That's how the word without the question marks is width. And that is the obvious reverse height. There you go. So through here, well, so in the regular Lingo level 1, this area basically had multiple ways in. And it led to this area, which is, it's some sort of newbie troll is what it is, because, I mean, first you have the normal white middles, which don't change anything, and in these stacks, but then we have black middles in locations where the black middling, like, the reversing is not visible, and it's just a troll. And if you don't realize what black middle did and somehow got here, you would have been trolled. Anyway, I was disappointed that this area didn't have much to it. This used to be, or maybe it still is, one of Lingo's screenshots in the store page, and this felt like it should just have more things going on, but it just doesn't. So I fixed that. First of all, some of the entry puzzles are sort of trolling this time around. So you can see it's 2 letters. It's a supposed black middle. The reason is because it is actually chaining into a red middle. So it goes to was to, and remove letters from was, so as, and there we go. And here, introduces a lot of side modifiers, is what we call this. So, certainly, well, I mean, it's supposedly a black middle, but if you try that, it doesn't work. And so, same with portal, that's not a real word. So what is this about? Same is true if you leave this area, by the way, and go here, where we have left, but it does not reverse to, the reverse doesn't work, and we also have dots on it. So, dots are a pretty big thing in this map. This is a mechanic you're intended to learn by basically seeing a ton of dot-related puzzles in the map and eventually figuring out what they mean. Of course, you could try to figure out what it means from just this. You know, there's actually quite a lot of dot puzzles. Some of them are nearby the blue area, and these are actually like the first puzzles I ever put in the map. Originally they were numbers instead of dots, but that turned out to look pretty ugly. So, and look more like some sort of secret message, so, which is not intended. Also triangles in Lingo. Another mechanic I've introduced in this map is Squiggles. So we have unlock, that sounds like a little bit like unlock. And so the squiggle, okay, it's almost self-explanatory, I think. And now this is more squiggles, and it has these could wiggle. And it's the same answer. This mechanic means imperfection. And the more squiggles, the worse the imperfection has. And perfection. And the final one is hard to decipher. Hard to decipher. You really sound like a clown when, like, speaking like this. Hard to decipher. Hard to decipher. So that's the mechanic. I made this mechanic because there were a lot of puzzles that almost worked, but disappointingly did not. So this is where all the cursed pronunciations started. Anyway, the next sort of global mechanic in Palace is its variation on orange puzzles. Now, the original level 1, so this is the base game, and you would eventually, like, come across these orange panels, and they're just not actually a very fair color in level 1, rule discovery-wise. Unfortunately, orange is not as satisfying as a mechanic in level 1 as it should be. I'm only mentioning it because it's required to understand Palace's orange, but if you can watch this back and understand this mechanic, then you can try to solve Palace's orange from the video. In my map, I wanted to fix that, so these orange puzzles are actually accessible from the very beginning, as long as you know level 1's orange rule from the base game. Okay, now it's time to get to my favorite part of the map. It is also a lot of other people's favorite, as I have gotten many compliments on this. This is a highly rule discovery based area. So, there's a lot of errors and things that are maybe not right now. So, this, I mean, just a white middle. How hard could it be, really? But, you can see the gimmick is that we do not see all of the word. So, what is this? It is welcome. And now here, you cannot see it at all. Well, luckily, we have a mechanic called jumping. So, there you go. Okay. Next is here. Well, you can't understand what this word is, right? It's clearly error. But technically, you couldn't tell that's an L. Like, that could be an L, that could be a K. You know? So, I think this is an interesting concept. You have floor. This... The O doesn't look like an O. The word is actually flower. Okay. Next we have this word. Gravy. And this is actually double clued, so you can see this part of the word and this part of the word. So this is hitting. Okay. Now we have a lot more cursed ways to hide letters here. So this D, it's an A, it's an N. That's dancer. And this is almost dancer, but with a small difference there. So the word is actually danger. We have invisible. This was pretty obvious what it is. And here this is entirely blocked, but if you look around, you can see that it says close up. Surely there was nothing wrong with what you just saw there. And now here, it is very, very blocked. You can't even see it even by jumping. But some nice little platforming, because Lingo is not a platformer. You can see that it says unreadable. So now we get to the part where everyone gets stuck. And it is very much intended that everyone gets stuck here. We have Door and Doom, but they do not work. Yes. So what happened to that type the same word part of the white middle, huh? So, I've provided enough info in this video so far, actually. I always recommend people look back. Okay, I'll reveal the mechanic, but first I'm going to bump into the places where the mechanic is most relevant. And yes, this is an F instead of an E. Okay, so, this thing, when it's on a thing, like, it overlaps 2 letters. So replace them with E's, and there you go. My favorite puzzle game thing is important things hidden in plain sight in puzzles you've already done. And this is exactly what this is. In addition, this one also has an ER instead of an E. So we have deer as well for this one. So, what? It is covering the center 2. So we get ER replacing the HA, and the T is replaced with the E. Dampen. So, D, 2 letters replaced by E. P from dampen, ER. There we go. This is the word palette. Now, of course, it's covered at the top as well. So, of course, the bottom, messing with stuff at the bottom changed the text. Messing with the top only obscures it. So, towns. Okay. Here we have some remnants of the original Lingo level 1. Whisk. Okay, so W-H-E-R-E. Wilds. So, this is a blackest to reverse. So, we go to S-D-L-I-W. And then replace every affected thing. So, W is replaced with E, the S is replaced with E, and this middle 2 DL is a combined 2, so we replace it with ER. Oh, also, don't worry about the, don't worry about that. Anyway, so, choosy, then, so, this is now covering 3 symbols. Fana something. And choosy. So, 3 symbols. So, before it is replacing with E's and then R's sometimes. Okay, it's clearly cherry. The other one is going to be... So, what is the word? The word is fanatic. So, there you go. And now we've unlocked a lot of Z's in this one. If you didn't notice the thing going on now, it's like I've read people who've written like a notebook or something about this. So it's over, and E doesn't work, R doesn't work. In this position, O works. Like stuff's opened up. This is about the time people realize that the rule is not randomly replacing characters with an E or R as like arbitrarily, but it's instead about the word error. So this word is terror. You replace the entire right side with error, because that is what is being messed with in one big group. And yes, so this was using the bottom rule, and so was this, and those, and those. Buckler Peon from Chess Battle Advanced. Anyway, one title later, and I still have more takes on this concept. Like, we have obscured here. So you can tell it's a white block, because a little bit of it is sticking out. Don't worry about that one. Leaves, and you can't even tell the color of this block at all. You need to look at the back, and the opposite of leaves is enters. Oak. Do you see what color this block is? This is a normal white middle. You type the same word. If you cannot make a typo, this is... A white bottom is a synonym. But there's a little bit of trolling going on. Like, we have 2 other white bottoms as well. But like rock, it's not rock. And in fact, you're not going to find a 6-letter synonym for that. For there, you're not going to find a word for ceiling, because the idea here is, well, this is height trolling, which I've always freaking loved. So the error blocks are not supposed to be there, which means that this is actually white middle, and you type the same thing. And this is a white top. That's the same sound as ceiling, so that word is ceiling, ceiling. Now this is something stuck in the middle. Well, it's in the middle of a lot of red, so it is an unknown height. However, top gives you boulder. You can see what it is without the error on it. Oh look, here's a bonus section where I expand the ID even further. So, first of all, hitting, but you cannot see the panel at all. So either you have to assume where the replacements are, because just typing hitting does not work. Or, you have to notice that if you jump here, you can see where the marking is, and it's concentrated around there, it's herring. And now around here, we have the same thing. Now there is no jump location for this one, but the lines are actually accurate. So, well, you'll notice that just replacing all these with E's doesn't make any sense. You get a word like, goes from this word into that word, which doesn't make any sense. So, maybe we go at it at a different time. But meanwhile, we have a lot of the text covered, almost in a way that makes it sort of look like there's an E at the very end. There's a C here, okay, the blue is covered, but blue middle is add letters. Also there's a black bottom, which means antonym. Although it turns out that in Lingo they retconned the rule of this meaning anything. However, it used to be that this also meant, oh, it also works as a black bottom. But the word is uncovered. So now we have unt something HED. Right next to it also is this puzzle. This is a 2-letter, we don't know what it is. However, you might notice the line, it's not just EE. It's not ER, it's nothing like that. If you notice the way these are shaped, it's high, because the lines avoid even touching the high. And the high is also a common meme phrase in this game. So that's the same idea here. This is untouched because my map and puzzle get ruined by a font size change. Anyway, they're supposed to not be touched. That's the joke. And so we also have this illusion thing. Where it's just, they're not even on the panel, so they have no effect. And here, novel. So of course, that doesn't make sense. But with an R, it makes sense. And you can see that the rule is actually being kept, like from here where it was a connected block of 3, and therefore it was replaced with ERR as the first 3 letters of error. And so this is extending it, but in the joke of like, oh, it doesn't need to be the next letter. It can just be connected a different way. So we have falling with this fantastic piece of artwork here. So F turns to E, which is connected to this. So it's something like this. The next replacement is R. LI is kept. But then it's ER, because a new set, not new set exactly, but this line is not connected to this first 2. And in fact, this R is actually the 3rd letter in this ERR replacement. So this goes all the way up here, added. And both of these lines connect to the side. So this E turns into an R at the very end. And the first 2 is OR. So it's completing the ERR OR, but from a long distance. And here are just some panels of pretty standard stuff. It's just words that are obscured, but in fact, there's very few words that match the description of ending in CION. Suspicion is one of them. One of them has stuff even hitting the bottom, so it's coercion. And for this puzzle, by the way, the answer was reverberation. And ERR, you get a nice little close-up. At least the font size change didn't ruin that. But yeah, I'm very proud of how much I was able to extend this mechanic. It's really nothing like Lingo has seen before. Another thing I'm really proud of is the multiple variations of height and info trolling that I did in this map. So, into this area, which is an outdoor area. This used to be a maze that everyone hated in the original, which they got nerfed in the original.
It clearly says cock, not lock.
This hedge maze is like full of environmental puzzles. I've kind of kept the look over there. Nothing wrong with that one at all. But yeah, let's just keep going. Anyway, that hedge maze has been bulldozed of any accidental profanity. But we have this climb. The middle white, it's the same word, climb. And higher, okay, okay, people hated me for this. Even though it really should have just put it at the same thing so the column rule would work. But yes, it's trying to lead you into this higher climb thing. But then you do this one, higher, and people looking for 4-letter synonyms for higher. Yes, probably the subtitle at the top left spoils it a little. The joke is it's not a white bottom. It's a white top, so same pronunciation. It's higher. Now we have turn. The answer is earn. That's a red to remove letters. Turn. Hey, wait, I thought red middle was about removing letters. Why is it more? Well, chess battle advance. So that one means anagram. So you turn earn into a different word, such as run, and then blue middle adds to the right, so running. What do you mean we don't have the budget to add more piece of text to say what yellow is? Now we have more playing with this idea, like right. The opposite of right is left, but doesn't work. There's another one which also doesn't work. I basically just trolled myself with that one. It's right versus wrong. But this is not black bottom, it's black top, which means reverse pronunciation. Right tire. So yeah, we have right and right. Right, this one is a longer one, is actually a bottom. This one is a top, which means right to right, just has the same pronunciation. Now we have high, a very high quality white middle. It isn't the same word, huh? Well, it's because earlier, did you miss that I showed an OUS over there? So after doing the white middle operation, you add OUS, and there we go. This area was my, like, one of the first things, or maybe the first thing that I ever edited in the map. After you do all this, you have these 3 puzzles, this climb. Red top is removed phonetically, so climb. 3-letter word that could be inside line. It's line. Climb. And here, we can just, like, extend it, so climb. It's line. Here is another 4-letter. Chess battle advanced. It's because it's not actually a red top. Because anyway, it's just limp. This height and info trolling I've used in so many of my other maps at this point too. I just love it. It's one of the few things as like a fundamental aspect of like Lingo rules. And I love messing with fundamental aspects. Like, oh, by the way, this is a green section. Green is about environmental, if you didn't know. Chess battle advance. And the reason I'm putting this in here is down. It's not white. It's not white. I mean, the other colors are fine. That one points at not blue, points at green. So the reason this is in this section is because what's down is black. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with the section. Okay, I think it's time to go back to the dot stuff. And there's quite a lot of dots everywhere. My intended experience is to look at them from here, then notice the dots in blue and try to solve it using what you got from blue. So, I mean, blue's room has dots in here, get, and so, and we're dumb stalling. So, this is a middle blue, so you add letters. Probably not hard to think of forget. As for the answers to these puzzles, they are grid, although there are multiple valid potential solutions for that one. Like, arid was one of the solutions for that one, but the answer here is actually raid. Here is rid. Okay. We also have random triangle that definitely isn't for this specific purpose. So, app, age, 6 dots on this here. Now, if you look at, like, the fact that this and this have the same length, and, like, just looking at, the answer is So, and this one is simply a pen. So probably that gives you an idea of what the dots are. So we added 3 letters. They're here. We added... You can't actually tell if this is the 3-letter word end in between because of the question marks, but it's pretty clear by context that this is end to appendage. And the 6 dots, age at the very end, and 6 letters are added here. So it is some kind of targeting thing. So extending that here, we have left, which has 3 letters, 3 dots to the left. Let's target 3 letters of a middle black. Yes, you reverse LEF for felt, which is a word. And so, how do I stop this? We are reversing 3 letters from this entire phrase, which stays the same length. How do I stop this? And it needs to remain like a sensible thing at the end. The place you do it is here. How do I spot this? So, got a bunch of other curse stuff in here, you know, just standard curse stuff. There's also this early room, welcome Buck. This is here to make fun of an equivalent hallway in Lingo level 1, where you get welcome backed. It's very easy to get welcome backed in level 1. Like, you just... If you see this smiley, you should always avoid it, because if you go through, weird things happen and you get sent back to the entry room again. There used to be so many unhinted, the smiley didn't even used to be there, ways to get welcome back in Lingo level 1, so it became a meme. Like, you're just trying to explore and all of a sudden you're sent back to the entry room. Everyone's, here's a set of puzzles. Care said that originally I think they were much easier to access and caused people to ask for hints too early about dots and not do my intended progression. But yes, we have 3 dots on here. And we have a 3-letter word that means the synonym of care. So, dots on white bottom. What might those mean? Like, the answer is not spoke, which is a common thought. It would not work at all as spoke. Okay, so the thing about this puzzle is that you are in fact taking 3 letters. So you are taking aid and doing something with it. And this word aid is the answer to care you're looking for. So, if you looked at what all the other dots did for the blue and for the black, the affected region shares the rules. It's just in a more specific place. So, aid, we're looking for a synonym for aid, which we just got. So, it's care, but we still have the S. It's scare. So this section over here is basically like a selection of the best puzzles with black involving dots, as well as opening the ceiling. As in original Lingo, I was really disappointed the ceiling wasn't, like, special in any way. Didn't open or whatever. So, once you know the rule, it is kind of clear what it does. Like, artist. So, ART, the first 3, is reversed. And then, the last 2 are also reversed. Making artist go to traits. And patrol, this seems to have nothing on it, but obviously doesn't work. But there are 4 dots on top, so it's reverse the first 4 and there the middle 4, and there you go. Now, I very much enjoy this one, this indie one. Like, the opposite is just normally AA, but with the dots, it is actually the opposite of in, and the opposite of die. So, out, die, live. For this one, it's use. There is nothing else on here, just 2 dots. So, actually, use, like... For some reason, people freaking do this. Freaking spaghetti brain. Anyway, so the opposite of us is them, but the final thing is also a word that is, like, I really enjoy how neither of them, neither the clue nor the answer, have anything to do with the meaning when the E is removed. Blacktop is about reversing pronunciation, so we have 3 dots here, 2 dots here, so, and then a triple squiggle because the pronunciation is a big meme here. So, Anne, this goes to na or something. And then gel goes to ledge. So, the whole word is knowledge. Knowledge. For crowd, there doesn't seem to be anything on it. Except for this thing, which I should have deleted by now, to be honest. And as it works perfectly fine without. The troll here is that there's there's dots above, and there's 3 dots above. So you take the 3 middle row, and you reverse row or chord. On top of this, we have some, you know, some unknown number of dots. I also really enjoy the final achievement word in this area, where the editing takes 3 dots to change 3 letters, reversing them inside the editing, and then reverse the entire 6 letters of the back. It's actually fun to see, like, who understands, like, they can kind of reverse engineer the last 6 letters. Because I think it's actually easier if you start from there. But let's say we do the top 3 first. So we reverse 3 letters in there, and the correct 3 letters to reverse is the EDI part of it. So we switch that to IDE, then reverse the entire 6-letter portion here, which gets you the ignited. Very happy for finding that one. Now, when you're done with this section, you'll have access to the sequence room, which is, like, it's just as much of a favorite to me as the error section in my map, but unfortunately, I kind of hit it too well. But before showing that, I should explain the oranges. This is technically spoilers for Lingo Level 1, but there's basically no rule discovery involving these at all. It really is basically just ciphering Wanderlust into numbers and the individual letters. So, I wish the rest of Lingo Level 1 had more clues to what orange was before, like, basically handing you the answer, but in this map, it's obviously different. For one, this isn't even a middle, and it's not even a top either. It is a new height mid-top, and yes, there are other halfway heights between other Lingo heights in my map. If you try to cipher this, you're going to get NTT, which does not fit in 6 letters. Now, if you noticed, that sounds like, NTT sounds like entity. So here we have 9, 2. 9 in Wanderlust is S. 2 in Wanderlust is A. So SA, SA. So the oranges in the map are almost like a mid-top tutorial. The theme basically is that top is pronunciation, middle is letters. So a mid-top is like letter by letter pronunciation. Now you might be wondering, if there are mid-tops, are there mid-bottoms? The answer is yes. Very much yes. Anyway, with that non-explanation of mid-bottom, let's go to sequence room. So, you know black, except none of the blacks looks exactly like the... Please ignore the jittering floor. So, I mean, it's called sequence room, and these are like 1 letter long. So, even like with random guessing, you can find that's W. This is D. A, B, C, D. So bat, bet, bit. No, it's the other vowel. And you're just going to have to accept that these are black bottoms now, obviously. What a rule break that's completely unmotivated. Whatever these are, they're clearly not operating by black bottom normal rules. Do you get this one, by the way? It is try-rec pen. The next that comes, and this is 3 letter, the answer is 3 letters, it is hex. Because triangle, rectangle, pentagon, hexagon. But we're only showing the first 3 letters of them. EAD, EB, ECFE. So we actually keep the E's, and then, like, the letters go, of course, A, B, C, so it's D, and then D, E, F, the next is G, which actually happens to spell a real word. And then 2, 4, 6, that's 8. Which opens that. So now we have 1, 3, 5. It's all 7s. Clearly it's 6. It's clearly 4, 5, 6. And 2, 4, 8. It's a doubling, it's 32. And welcome to the lies of the sequence room. So this is not 90, even though like the numbers go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. That doesn't work. It's 5 doesn't work. The length is way too high for 5. And it's not 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 over here. Okay. So, do you happen to understand what's going on in sequence room? You might also notice you're stuck in this room now. I mean, you could figure this out just by being stuck here, but if you decided, oh, I'm just gonna return, try to go back up. This is now opened. And, you know, sequence room is a lie, so... Chess battle advanced. Yeah, so those are black middles. That then get reversed, completely deleted, and then the correct answer is added onto it. Very realistic. Chess battle advanced. Development. This also unlocks this area with a bunch of, like, bonuses. Let's not talk about the checkerboards. Remember that one? Yeah, it's over here now. So, although you might notice something, some of these have not gone through that change. Okay, so the reason this has not gone through this change, like, it does not have a reveal at all, despite that it still has this pattern, like, framing, it is because it's a completely valid black bottom. It doesn't need changes. If you search 2-4-6, you get that. Wonder what that has to do with anything. Well, does that work on the other ones? Oh yeah, that works too. So yeah, it's a black bottom. A real one because 2 - 4 - 6, there's actually minus signs that I've conditioned you to make it not seem that way at first, which equals -8. But because it is a black bottom, we reverse the meaning of -8, which just gives 8. I'm very proud of this find. People, I feel like people love this as much as Error Room. And so, like, the lower room floor stuff is 1 - 2 - 3. That is 4, but it's -4. 1 - 2 - 3 - 4, that is 8, but it's -8. And now, it's funny you can just search it to get the answer here. But okay, we just got 1 - 11 equals 10, well, -10 really. Subtract 1 1 1 from that, you get 1 2 1. We don't actually need the negative sign, we know we're gonna get rid of that at the end. And this gives us 1 2 3 2 when you subtract 1 1 1. So, yeah, this is also great because of the 9-0 joke. And it's going to be a negative number, but it's not 9-0, it's 100, -100. So then this area continues. Like, it's very obvious at this point. This does kind of show that you can use, like, the number or the entire word, doesn't matter. This, I know one person who got stuck on these two puzzles, which there's other mechanics in Lingo that can do this puzzle set up with, like, a better punchline. But yes, you got those. And I'm not even going to bother explaining that. Oh, hi. Please fix. So yeah, this is no longer part of the sequence room. It's just like, it's actually, again, one of the first areas I constructed. And at this point, this is too simple compared to after solving the sequence room. But, I mean, like, I managed to port the classic 12 + 1. So this is a yellow to rearrange letters, but also a yellow bottom because that used to be a rule in L1. That also works as a conceptual rearrangement, and if you're familiar with it, well, if you are not familiar with it, this is all pretty, it's an awesome math fact. You should be familiar with it. So, and there you go. There's so much more in the map that I've never shown, such as these fantabulous non-words. Because this map is easily longer than Lingo Level 1. There's glass blocks and checkerboard colors, which I'm probably going to save for a different maps video, as I've made way too many maps for this. The blue X checkerboards probably tie for my favorite mechanic in the map as well. This is the first time checkerboards were ever seen in the Lingo map, and it's one of those things. After the creator of Lingo played my map, these checkerboards became the representation for this mechanic. They used to have a much less consistent representation in the original Lingo. Okay, maybe the custom community went a little too far with some of these checkers, but and the creator of these cursed checker maps honestly have found way better words than me for some of them. Anyway, you know, believe it or not, there's so much stuff that I still haven't shown across the map. There's, like, of course, more checkerboard stuff. So the map is pretty gigantic. Almost too big. I think only a VTuber Weeb's personal project could have more panels than I have. I also took the orange tower in the original Lingo Level 1, which I've now changed to actually have puzzles in it, and a much more specific meaning of squiggle, as well as arrow puzzles. You know, just a new modifier, why not? And this room, which I am very proud of. All the puzzles in here. I use multiple chains of checkers and multi-sided checkers here. And the meta room with a bunch of gray checkers. Surely I'll get to my other maps like Iceland. Ice Teal, where I bring the checkerboards, like, I just make that section easier to find, as well as introduce new custom colors like ice and, and teal. Brassland, even though I didn't invent the color brass, but the creator of brass could be bothered to make a level with it, so here's the level. That also contains checkerboards of brass that people are reinventing because people don't bother to put the maps. Because they couldn't be bothered to check if the mechanics already been done, even though brass would use other maps. And then I need to introduce ice height, which includes, like, way more heights than the original 3. Complains about people's bad custom colors. Featuring a museum. I'm never getting to this content, am I? Look, you want to play, like, just be aware that it contains this, which I definitely did not steal from Christopher Saveve. Most of the puzzles in the museum are horrible on purpose. Why didn't I even make it? Sometimes I don't know why I make maps, when I never bother to show all the projects I make. It's very inefficient of me to make a lot of maps, and then spend months or at least weeks making them, but then I never get to show them off in a video because I didn't put up all my previous maps as videos. This one's about cursed synonyms and antonyms, by the way, like idiot spotted is a synonym of shocked and confused. The answer is dumbfounded. Also, I think there was a tree somewhere in there. Don't know where it went, though. Oh yeah, there was also the time I stole someone's fish map, but we don't, hey, why is this here? And what is this thing? I still don't know how to show off my projects properly. Goodbye. I hate outros. Goodbye.